This is NEGOTIATEx TV.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us on the NEGOTIATEx podcast. We are continuing our conversation with Jay Payleitner, a best-selling author and national speaker on a myriad of topics, including conflict resolution. If you haven't already checked out part A of this show, be sure to do that first. Now, let's jump into conversation with Jay. Well, I kind of want to move into the 14 conflict skills that you cover in the book, and I'll quickly highlight them. I don't think we're going to get through all of them, but maybe you can give us like 2 to 3 of the skills when it comes to de-escalation and what someone might use. But the skills are active listening, use encouraging language, watch your tone and body language, apply humor, give kids a break, shine light in the shadows, match their emotions, don't just paint over it, recognize the barriers to reconciliation, one-on-one reconciliation, skip revenge, terminate toxicity, and know thine enemy. So of those 2 to 3, what skills do you think are most important for people to when it comes to de-escalation?
Well, the first ones we started with are active listening and body language and using encouraged language. Your friends and listeners all kind of know those already, but they may be afraid to use humor. Now, in the middle of a desperately tough negotiation, that could backfire on you. But if you do it the right way and maybe start trying to bring some humor in early on, you start the negotiation. How you doing today? Well, you know what? It's a bad hair day, or and I'm make a little jokes like we're in this together, kind of a thing. But I love the story of the Cuban Missile Crisis back in 1962. Some of your listeners may know that from the history books. I was just 5 years old at the time, I guess, so I don't remember it. But JFK, John F. Kennedy, had to get those missiles out, those nuclear missiles out of Cuba. They weren't there yet, so they blockaded the whole deal. But this is what a conversation that happened in the negotiation. In the middle of this tense negotiation, Americans and Soviets, a Russian delegate stood up and said, "You know what?" I'm going to do my Russian accent now. Is that okay?
That's fine.
You know what is the difference between capitalism and communism? He says, in capitalism, man exploits man. In communism, it is the other way around. I don't know if that stopped World War III from starting, but let's give that Russian delegate some credit for bringing some humor to the situation. And you're laughing, I'm laughing. So that's again one of the stories in the book that if you can bring some humor to the situation, you'll come out ahead most of the time. But again, that could backfire on you. Another warning would be in negotiations is sometimes if you're negotiating, some of you pros out there who've been doing this for a long time, there's the kid on the other side is a new intern or just brand new to his job. You could crush him with your negotiation skills. Well, maybe don't do that. Maybe be a mentor to him. Maybe separately talk to him about what's really important and help him get a good deal for his company. And you might have a friend on that, whatever, your supplier or distributor, whoever you're dealing with there, you might have a friend for life. So instead of being, winning that negotiation, maybe take a step back and let the other side win a little bit, especially if they're younger than you. And the other is match their emotions. That's really interesting concept. And I tell the story. I was a junior in high school. Either of you guys wrestle? Do you guys know?
I did.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, me too.
So I was a junior in high school. I was the captain of the JV wrestling team, which is not a big deal. When you're a junior in high school, you're supposed to be on the varsity team. But I was and I actually went to a tournament, and I got first place in the JV tournament my junior year. Again, not a big deal. But they gave me a little trophy, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. It was a good day for Jay. And this is back before cell phones, and my folks made it to most of my wrestling tournaments. But I came home that day, showed my dad this little trophy, and again, I'm a junior. My dad, he's trying to encourage me, trying to be a good dad. What does he say? He says, well, maybe next year you can get a varsity trophy. Like, what? That's like that's crushing to a 17-year-old kid like I was back then. Okay, so what should he have done? He should have matched my emotions. I was having a good day. He should have said, "Well, that's great. Tell me about the last match," or "Oh, that's great. I wish I could have been there." Again, and connect with me on matching emotions. If your wife comes to you with a problem, or your spouse comes to you with a problem, and is sad about it, you want to fix it maybe, but no, be sad with her, be sad with him for a while. If your daughter comes and says, "Oh, I got into this, I got an acceptance letter from this university," and you go, "Well, shoot, I wanted her to go to my alma mater, or I wanted her to go to Harvard or some bigger, better school." No, she's happy. She got that acceptance letter from that school. Be happy with her in the moment. So match emotions. That great scripture verse is, "Weep with those who weep and laugh with those who laugh." That is a great. So if you're in negotiations with somebody and they're all angry, you can go ahead and get a little angry with them. But if you're copacetic and being cool, be cool with them. Matching emotions is a really great way to deal with interpersonal relationships. And it goes both sides. If they're laughing, laugh with them. If they're crying, cry with them. If they're angry, be angry with them. You'd be surprised how that settles the room, and so that you can get back on the same page.
So Jay, as we were getting ready to start recording, I shared that, yes, I got 6 kids, you have 5. And I have one daughter who is a teenager, another one about ready to become a teenager. I feel like I'm struggling as a father, as starting to navigate these teenage waters. Is that the skill that's most important, or what other advice would you give to me?
Yeah, that's actually, you're right. That's a great connection there. If you can match her emotions, she's going to come to you with a problem and say, "Sweetheart, oh, I'm hurting for you," kind of thing. Oh, she tries out for auditions for a play, or doesn't win the election for the school class president or something. "Man, I'm hurting for you, sweetheart." That helps. That's tremendous versus blowing it off, that kind of thing. But if you got a teenage daughter who probably sat in your lap right when she was 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, but at some point she's not going to sit in your lap anymore. At some point, at about that 12-year age, she's not going to. Now, if you keep, and your reaction might be to push her away. Say, "Okay, well, if you're not going to sit in my lap, I'm not going to give you the time of day," and that kind of thing. And it puts the divide there. But instead, keep, you don't have to say, "Come sit in my lap," because she's not going to do that. She's not going to want to. But when she's 18, you will be surprised. She'll come home from college. She'll be missing dad. And she's going to come sit in your lap, believe it or not, when she's 18 years old, and say, "Dad, you're awesome." If you continue to empathize, pour into her life, show up. She's going to keep some secrets from you, and that's okay. You need to keep her safe, but let her make mistakes. Hold her accountable. And when she comes to you with a problem, say, your attitude needs to be, "I love you. It's going to be okay. We'll get through this together." It's almost like I want you to say that. "I love you. It'll be okay. We'll get through this together." That's your attitude needs to be. We could test that. Why don't you say that? "I love you. It'll be okay. We'll get through this together." Aram, say that.
I would.
No,
This is fun.
I'm serious.
I love you. It's going to be okay.
We'll get through this together.
We'll get through this together.
Okay, we're going to test that now, okay? Dad, I wrecked the car. Go ahead.
Honey, I love you.
It's
going to be okay.
We'll get through this together. Now, there may be repercussions. Maybe, you bought the car and they're paying her insurance. Maybe she's got to pay her own insurance now. Or maybe the car's, gone. Dad, I'm in jail. I love you. Honey. It'll be okay. We'll get through this together. And if it's maybe your daughter or your son let's talk to everybody here. Maybe they need to stay in jail overnight. If it's the local cops and you know them, but if it's downtown, Dad, I'm pregnant. I love you. It'll be okay. We'll get through this together because you do love them.
Yeah.
It will be okay. The world might give them the wrong advice, and so you need to make sure that they're coming to you. You need to make sure they're coming to you with their problems, and they need to know that when Dad comes, when they come to Dad with a problem, he's not going to go rah, 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 rah. He's going to go, I love you. It'll be okay, and we'll get through this together. Yikes!
Since we're on, we're gonna keep doing this. This has now become Aram's personal coaching session, provided by Jay. I want to dig into one more, because one of your skills was recognizing the barriers to reconciliation, and in that, if I have this right, a lot of this was about kind of repeat conflicts, the kind of the thorn in the side that continues to stay there. And, I get one or two relationships that are really that way, and they've just kind of been there. I would love if you could just say a little bit more, maybe provide some advice in when that's the case, right? This isn't a one-time thing. This is actually something that's reoccurring. And how do you what do you suggest in terms of approaching those situations where there's a history?
If there's a history of conflict with somebody, and it could be a personal family relationship, it could be somebody in business, I think it behooves us to go back and think about what our part is in this, because I know that Nolan has his act together. Never pushes anybody.
That's right. It's
true.
That's right.
But Aram, I know you and I, we have character flaws. We have things that we make mistakes on. And so we need to dig down sometimes and go, man, you know what? Maybe they have a point. Maybe I need to listen better. Sometimes you got to cut people loose. If they continue to be jerks over and over and over again, you say, listen, we're not doing business with them anymore. And sometimes that's the best choice to make. So you can't make this on a whim. But what you want to do is get some good counsel, spend some thoughtful time about it. Maybe give them one last chance, some kind of ultimatum kind of thing, but not in an ultimatum way, but more in a, you know what, friend, this isn't working out this way. And instead of, well, you have to do it this way, it's like, this isn't working out. I need to maybe go another direction, but can we just give this one more shot here? Again, admitting that maybe, you know what, maybe I haven't given you the best chance. There are words you can use. There are phrases you can use that are going to, they're going to de-escalate the situation versus just pouring gasoline on it. And you know what? Whether it's with your kids or with your spouse, you know the words you're going to say before you even say them, that they're going to tick that person off. You know that you're going to be divisive. It's like when I walked in the front door, this is a little bit ago now, I said, oh, sweetheart, to my wife, they opened a new women's fitness center down the street. What am I, an idiot? or sweetheart, you know those mugs you bought? They don't fit in the dishwasher. That's like saying you're so stupid for buying these mugs. Or how much was that haircut again that you have? Why do we do that? We know before we say things in our marriage, in our relationships, even before we say them, that they're gonna cause explosion. Now maybe you get off on that. Maybe you just really enjoy, stirring the pot. If that's your personality, then go for it. But know there will be repercussions.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Jay, continuing with that, is reconciliation always the goal when there's been conflict?
Wow, no, because sometimes you won't be able to reconcile. Sometimes the conflict's going to go on because it's in their heads. You've done your part. I mean, you've done that first part of the 4 factors. You have decided what you really want, and you know that this relationship, whether it's a business relationship or whatever, that you're not going to get that. You're not going to get what you really need. So I'm going to cut you loose. And there's a biblical application that would say that. Sometimes you go back 2 or 3 times to your brother, and if they're a complete jerk, and that's not, I'm paraphrasing Scripture now, but if they're a complete jerk and won't give in, cut them loose, man. It might break your heart, and you might lose a valuable customer, don't be surprised if you have a terrible customer who's always causing problems. If you go back and think, well, we made $1 million off them last year, but we did $1.5 million worth of lawyers' fees or time lost kind of thing. And don't be surprised if all your staff starts applauding. We don't have to work with XYZ company anymore. That's fantastic. And you go on, and God opens the door to even better relationships, business relationships.
Yeah, a bad deal is worse. Can be worse than no deal. Jay, your worldview on conflict is obviously heavily influenced by the Bible and what it has to say about conflict and conflict transformation, reconciliation. Could you share some examples of how you see Jesus modeling different conflict management approaches?
Yes. If you have some friend who knows a little bit about the Bible or a little bit about Jesus, and they get angry all the time, you say to them, you know what? You're angry. You gotta work on that. They'll say, well, Jesus got angry. He turned over the tables in the temple from the money changers. And then you can say, well, first, you're not Jesus. Second, that was a righteous anger, because we know that sometimes anger is a good thing. Sometimes you need to get angry if it's righteous, if there's something behind it. And third, we don't think about that, but that turn of events there, when he's turning over the tables, that really set the Pharisees off and set them in action, and that was the beginning of the end for Jesus' ministry and sent him to the cross. We won't go there, but actually, a better example of Jesus is in is when he is John chapter 8. John chapter 8, when he draws in the sand. Many of your listeners may know this story. The Pharisees come up with a woman caught in adultery, and the Pharisees say, "Hey Jesus," again I'm paraphrasing. "Hey Jesus, the old law, the law clearly says that we're supposed to stone this woman, and we're going to stone her right here and now." And Jesus doesn't do a 20-minute lecture. Instead, he leans over and starts drawing in the sand. We don't know what he draws. It could be maybe he's writing the old laws. Maybe he's writing the new laws. Maybe he's writing the sins of the Pharisees down. And then he gives everybody time. He brings some calm to the situation. What a concept that is. If you're in conflict, bring calm to the situation. So he brings some calm to the situation, and then stands up and says, well, whichever of you has not sinned, well, go ahead and throw the first stone. And that hits him right between the eyes, of course. Interestingly enough, the older Pharisees walk away first, the Bible tells us, and then the younger ones like, I want to throw that rock. I want to do that. Well, no, they eventually walk away too. But again, maybe the punchline of this whole thing is that Jesus spoke truth, brought calm to the situation, then turned to the woman who was still there and said, you know what? They don't condemn you, and neither do I. Then he gives instructions: go and sin no more. Get your act together. There's something about you that still has victory in you. Go claim that victory. Go and sin no more. So that's a pretty good synopsis of one way to deal with conflict is to bring calm to the situation, let people think it through, bring some truth to the situation, and maybe a little love and empathy as well. So that's where I'm coming from, Aram, thanks for letting me tell that story.
That's a great
thanks.
story.
And I love those 3 points you just made. We'll make sure we hit those again on the kind of our close up. Specifically as a parent now of adult children, as a grandparent, as a foster parent, how do you hope, again, looking at the world around us, a little conflict, how do you hope these next generations are being impacted both by your example around conflict and also the writing that you're doing on the topic?
Well, let's be real clear. I can write about these things and I can do some research. I can speak truth, but I mess up all the time.
No. We wouldn't have had you on the program if we knew that.
And again, I speak too fast and I lose my train of thought. We all know that. We've already experienced that today. But I hope that they see that. I hope they see someone who apologizes when I mess up. I hope they see someone who brings calm to the storm. I hope they see somebody who they can come to because I love them. It'll be okay. I know in the long run that my family's going to stay together, and I'll join them in heaven. It'll be okay, and that we'll get through this together. You got to sometimes put all your cards on the table, folks, and say, listen, here's where I am. Here's what my needs are. Can you help me with this? Boy, that's pretty good phrase too. If you go into a negotiation and say, I need your help on this, versus I'm going to beat the snot out of you. I need your help with this. Even a tough negotiator is going to go, oh, I can help this guy. So there you go.
No, that's great, and great insight. As we start to wrap up today's conversation, Jay, is there anything else that we didn't ask you that you want to make sure that we cover?
Here's the thought, maybe. We need to bring light to the darkness. Boy, it just seems like this world's got a little burden right now. Too much conflict, too much not even listening to each other's side. We get into these silos. And I think there's a business terminology we know these days, but we just talk to people who think just like us. We get into silos, we never listen to the other side. And when some truth sneaks over from another silo and jumps into our silo, we go, oh, that's hate speech. No, I think we need to, there's this darkness. There's a cloud coming over here. And Aram and Nolan, if you and I and a few of your listeners can bring a little more light, a little more smiles, a little more thoughtfulness, a little empathy, then we can make the world around us a better place. And it's not so hard to get up in the morning. And so that would be my takeaway and my thought. I think we've kind of covered a bunch of stuff here. So again, thanks for letting me share.
No, absolutely. And thank you so much for taking the time to join us to have these conversations. I really learned a lot today. And so now kind of want to kick it over to Aram to get final thoughts and takeaways from today's episode.
Yeah, I want to point out Jay's book again, which is Don't Take the Bait to Escalate. Highly recommended. I mean, I hope you all enjoyed hearing from Jay as much as I know I did, and I got a lot out of it. I love you. It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this together. I'm practicing it today, Jay. I think the thing I want to just maybe emphasize, and again, a lot of great points, is I like the description of if I can bring calm to a situation, if I can speak truth, and truth around needs, mine and yours, truth around, a precedent or a good direction that, what's the direction we want to go forward, but truth. And then if I can demonstrate genuine empathy and really connect with someone, if we all practice that, I think we bring a lot more light to some of these dark situations. So Jay, again, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
My privilege. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. And I encourage your listeners, some of these truths they can use on the job. That might be why they're tuning in. But if you can bring it to your Thanksgiving dinner table, well, you will be so, because we separate that sometimes. And you know what? We're who we are. We're whole people. So again, thank you so much. Keep at it.
Thanks for listening to us on the NEGOTIATEx podcast. Greatly appreciate it. If you could please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, it would help us out. If you have any consult engagements, you need to speak to a conference, you need to speak to a company, Aram and I do that. We love to do it. Please just reach out to me at nolan@negotiatex.com. We'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode. Hey, thanks for checking out this video on NEGOTIATEx TV. If you found any value at all, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification icon if you want to be notified of future videos. And then we also have a couple videos over here that you might be interested in checking out. If you and your small business, your team are looking to get negotiations or leadership training, then you can head over to NEGOTIATEx.com and learn more about the coaching services we offer. Thanks, and I'll see you over in the next video.